Game day, just an Amtrak away. Good morning,
That
good
motherfucker
morning.
about a year away.
Welcome to welcome to the Devo and Kris Joe show. We got some good stuff to talk about this morning, and we're gonna jump right into it. And what everybody, I guess, is talking about, Joe, right now in the Syracuse basketball world. Judah Mintz, putting his name in the draft, but still keeping his college eligibility. I mean, I think personally it's a good move for him, bro, to go work out, get some feedback from those NBA guys, see what he needs to work on, and then ultimately, I see him coming back, for another year at Cuse. What do you think?
Yeah, no question. It doesn't do the kid any harm to go test the waters. And like you said, it's not like he said, I'm entering the draft and foregoing my sophomore year, whatever the case is. Like he said, he's keeping his eligibility. Like you said, he's going to go test the waters. He's going to go work out, for some teams and get the right feedback. Because ultimately, you go to college or when you get a scholarship to go play hoop or football or whatever the case may be, you want to be a pro at the highest level. So he's going to go get that feedback from NBA execs, personnel, and coaches, and he'll know exactly what he needs to do in order to become, that player, next season. If he does so choose to come back. Now, let's just put it like that because we don't know what he's going to do, obviously. But I do believe that he has a good supporting system at home, great family, great parents. They're going to steer him in the right direction, obviously. So it's not a bad thing. Go there, work out, bro. See what it is to be a pro, and that really will get you into next season on a whole different level mentally. Because now you just went through a summer of grinding it out. You went through NBA workouts, and you see what it is at that level. You see what it is, even something as little as the 3-point line. You know what I mean? Like to be able to shoot that ball from that range consistently.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, if he does go to team workouts, he's not going to be working out against first rounders, right? Because that's not where he's projected at the moment. So you won't even be getting a real feel for, competing at your position against the best guards in the country because they'll be putting you in workouts with, maybe second rounders and things of that nature. But for me, good move. Go test the waters, see where you fare, come back to school, go crazy, and then next year, like we've been saying, you go really, hit the draft and forego the rest of your eligibility.
Yeah, I'm looking at the mock draft right now, NBADraft.net. I mean, they don't have them on the first or second round. The top five, they have, of course, number one, the Victor Wembanyama or whatever from over in France. Brandon Miller, number two. Scoot Henderson, 3. Nick Smith, 4. And then Anthony Black, 5. That's the top 5. And then Grady Dick from Kansas at number 6. So they don't have him on any mock drafts. But again, bro, I think it'd be great for him, just to go work out, get some feedback, learn what he needs to work on. Like you said, get a consistent jump shot from that range, decision making. And I think they really want to see, obviously, can he lead a team, bro? Can he lead a team in a winning team? All right. And being able to make decisions down the stretch, when they really need it, and not just scoring, but putting people in their spots, getting the bigs the ball in spots where they can go right up. So he's a great athlete. He's explosive. He's a great shot maker, especially around the rim. I mean, he's super creative. He has great feet. I just think they need to see another year of him. And the big thing is his shot, especially at his size, bro. When you go into the league, a lot of those shots that he's getting right now, not saying he's not going to finish some of those, but, a lot of them it's going to be much more difficult, with more athletes, stronger guys, bigger guys. The help side is going to be there a little bit quicker. Guys are going to be coming out of nowhere. So he has to be able to get a consistent shot to be able to keep that defense honest so he could, be able to create for others. If not, they're just going to sag off and, that's not going to help the team overall. But I think it's good, man. It's good. Go there, get some feedback, and come back, like you said, even more confident, even more ready, having worked out, against those guys that, are possibly going to be in the NBA, because he's, like you said, he's not going to work out with the first round guys. It's going to be guys who, because he's not projected in the first or second round in the mock drafts that I'm seeing. So a lot of the guys that he's going to work out against is going to be second round, or guys that are just on the verge, of trying to get in, I guess. I mean, personally for you, Joe, what do you think are some things that, he needs to continue to work on, and what NBA, I mean, because you've been through the process, bro. You've been through that draft workout process. You got drafted second round by the Celtics. So, I mean, you've been in the mix. So what are some things that you think NBA scouts and execs are looking at from him that they really need to see more, from him in the workouts, and then if he decides to come back for next year?
Like one thing you hit on is my thing is, you hit on shooting, and we've been talking about that all year. And I think, towards the end of the year, he was making a couple more threes and things like that, getting more comfortable. But I think that efficiency is going to have to be a big thing. Being efficient with your shot making. That's going to be huge, especially at his position, the point guard position. As he's 6'3", about 6'2", 6'3", however tall he is, his efficiency is going to have to be good. If you could score, 17 a game, shooting, 7, 8 shots, but you're getting to the free throw line and shooting a high clip from the free throw line, that's going to be important. Playmaking ability, making your teammates better, getting them in position to score, that's all things, because again, the unfortunate reality is, once you get there, you're not going to be called upon to score the ball. Now, obviously, they need to see that you can score it. They got to see that you can score the ball, because that's important, But when you first get there, your job is going to be like, you're going to have to run the offense and get what you can within the flow. Now, obviously, at school this year, he was put in a position, I'm sure same thing in high school, where he had to score the ball, and, we got to call it what it is. He was the man. You know what I mean? Like, it was him, Jesse, Joe, but he was the one, I want to say, most consistent as far as scoring,
Absolutely,
this year. So obviously, that will benefit him, because he has the ability to score. If he, at the end of a shot clock, he can get a shot off, he can create. But he'll have to be able to get guys involved early, show that he's able to do that, show that he's able to lead for another year. I think that's going to be kind of the biggest things that they're going to want to look at, because they're never drafting you for what you are now. They're drafting you for who they think you could be for them in that organization. So, yes, you have the ability to score, and, of course, you have the ability to grow. If someone was to go down and your opportunity presents itself, I'm sure he'll be ready. But playmaking and efficiency, scoring the basketball, shooting them better percentages from three. Those are the three things for me that I believe, execs and scouts at the next level are looking at.
Bro, so what type of role do you see? Obviously, he's at the point guard position, but he played off the ball as well sometimes, and he was kind of almost, I guess, in the beginning of the season, towards the end, I think he did a great job of getting others involved, and his decision-making, turnover to assist ratio was definitely way better than it was in the beginning of the year.
Yep.
But what would his role be at the next level? Because he's a guy that, he's not going to be starting if he at that right away. I mean, he's not going to be a guy that's getting, even 20, 25 minutes. He's a guy that's going to get spot minutes, in a role where, if he is coming in handling the ball, or if he might come in and have that Lou Williams type role where he's coming in and trying to get instant offense, for his team right away. But, more likely than not, I think, a role where he's bringing the ball up and playing, late in that first quarter or early in that second quarter, right? Just being solid, making good decisions, getting people in their spots, not turning it over, playing good defense, and, giving guys a blow. I mean, that would be his role at first,
sure.
right?
For sure. You got to think back, and if guys, I know they see basketball. They've been watching basketball for however many years now, and they've seen Steph Curry be who he is for the past decade plus. But when he first got into the league, our good guy Johnny Flynn was drafted ahead of him and all that stuff too. And Steph didn't come into the league and right away play. He had Monte Ellis ahead of him. He was the one giving those guys a breather. You know what I mean? And obviously the constant work and the unseen hours of him putting his work in, getting his reps up, he was ready for when his opportunity presented itself. So for sure, when you first get to a team, most teams that you're going to get drafted to, there's already a starter and a backup for that position. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you're so good of a player, which now we're talking first rounders, they're going to move a couple pieces for you to make sure that
even probably top 15, huh, Joe? Even like in the first round, like if you're going like past like 15 or past that lottery, it's still like you're still might not play a lot that year, right?
Yeah.
So it's like top 15 probably.
Yep. Them guys 15 to 30, 15 to 60, however you want to call it. They're going to, you're going to be going up and down a bit, going down to play some games in the G League just so you can get your reps up. At the end of the day, it's an investment, so they're going to make sure that they're doing the right things with that investment. They're going to make sure that you're getting the right, the right work in, strength and conditioning. They're going to make sure of all that stuff. But initially, your role on any team that you get drafted to is not going to be to come in and score. So you got to be able to put your work in and be ready for when your number is called, but also make sure that you're able to play a role. You got to be, and a lot of guys be a superstar in your role. A lot of guys made a lot of money just being great in their role and what they bring to the team, right? So you can't get too caught up in other people's process. You got to run your own race and understand that things might not happen overnight, and it's going to happen over time as long as you keep putting the right work in.
So honestly speaking, bro, if Judah was to keep his name in the draft, say he got some good feedback, he shot the ball well in his workouts, he was going, or whatever it is, he's still going to spend a majority of his time. And I think this eventually he's an NBA player. I mean, he's a talented kid, man. I mean, we talked about it the whole year. I mean, the kid's, he's one of my favorite guys to watch. It's exciting. I mean, passion for the game, love for the game. He's competing at a high level. You could see it in him. I love it. But if he was to stay in, he'd be spending most of his time in the G League. Playing down. Just to be honest, if he was to, to get drafted, so it's just I think right now it's great for him to go, like we talked about, get feedback. This is what you need to work on, and I think that's what it is, bro. I think that's what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I think
Oh, my fault.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. Okay, excuse me, man. But so here's the thing, too, right? If you're, like you said, you're on the verge of saying, we said it, you're going to test the waters. You really want to just kind of see where you measure up. That's what testing the water is. You're going to go see how you're doing workouts. You're going to get the feedback, cool. But in my years of seeing guys leave school, after their first year, they never really leave after their first year if they're projected to be a second rounder, second round to undrafted. That just doesn't, it's not a good business decision at that point. Now, if you're projected anywhere in the first round, great, go ahead. And now you could for sure fall, you might be, first round, you might be top of the second. But if you're in the second round to start to undrafted, that's going to be that to me is like, go test the waters and come back to school. The only person who did do that, and that wasn't by choice, was Ricky Lito, who went to Providence, didn't play a game for whatever reason. I think maybe it was academics. After a year of not playing, he left school. Super talented kid. He was in the same class. What draft class was he? He was 2013. And he got drafted by the Mavs, I want to say, in the second round.
Yeah, Dallas, yeah.
He's 6'7", he was, great athlete, could shoot the ball, but he didn't play a college game for whatever reason. I can't remember what the reason was. That was the only time that I seen someone declare for the draft after being, in the draft boards or the mock drafts in the second round. And I think for real for him was because he couldn't go back to school just because the academics weren't right. So if you're not projected to be a first rounder, personally, again, this is all personal opinion. You don't leave school.
Unless you get a promise. You get a promise.
Unless you get a promise, you never know.
I know two promises, bro. And sorry to cut you off, but 2 times. So, and this is, I've never seen this besides these 2 times. So the one was Cuse, and I'll tell you why it's different from, what we're talking about now. Like, these guys were 6'11" and 6'8". So Kris McCullough tore his ACL, played 10 games, still ended up putting his name in the draft. You're like, dang, how could you just tore your ACL? How could you, even got a promise from the Brooklyn Nets? But again, 6'11", can shoot the ball, athletic, like the potential, like, we're talking about, if we're comparing it to Judah, he's a 6'2" guard compared to a 6'11". Obviously, they're going to take the 6'11" prospect with that type of skill set, right? And the second one, Wilson Chandler. I remember him, we're working out down in Atlanta. Isaiah Thomas is up there watching.
Shout out to Hurd.
Shout out to Hurd. Gets a promise from Isaiah Thomas, first round from the Knicks. So those are the 2 that I know, like, where I don't believe they were on the draft boards. Maybe they were, or maybe they were late in the second round. Got the promise. They knew it, kept their names in, and then, they end up getting drafted first round. But that doesn't happen. That really doesn't happen a lot, bro. But I think it's good for Judah, like we say, to go get some feedback, man. Get your game right. Hey, this is what you got to work on. This is what you need to be, more consistent with. This is what your role is going to be at the next level. Like, I think that's important for him to really know, because I think a lot of guys, bro, at the college level, they're doing something really well at the college level, scoring the ball at a high clip, whatever it is. And like you mentioned just a little bit ago, they're not going to be doing that shit in the league. You're not going to be scoring 25 in the league. You're not going to be doing that. We might need you to come in and be, a 3-point specialist, a defensive stopper, a guy who just comes in and gives me, 10 to 15 of some, instant offense, or, handling the ball, whatever it is. I think for people going into this draft process, find out what your role is going to be at that level, and like, oh, this is what we can see you as. And now go work on that shit, in the summer, or, for the next season, while still, playing within the system in college and on your team. You know what I'm saying? But that's super important. Guys are playing and doing shit in college that it's not going to translate for them to the league. And a lot of times you see, I think you even see guys, averaging a lot in college, doing this, and then you don't see him get drafted, or you don't see him high on the mock draft boards, because that's not going to be their role, in the league, compared to a guy who might average like 10, 11, and he's wiry, athletic, runs the floor like a deer. He's getting deflection, doing a lot of shit that they going to need him to do. Oh, we need a guy like that. We got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to score. We need guys to complement them and to take like a lot of the pressures off of them. Take care of your business. But that's what these guys need to figure out. And for people in the chat and for people in the audience, these guys at the college level have to know, what do I have to do to get to the NBA that's going to translate for me? So what do I got to work on? What my game? So I think that's huge for Judah going into this draft process. Find out what he has to work on. What is his role going to be at that next level? Handling the ball. Is it going to be instant offense? Decision maker. So I think it's good for him to go into this draft process with a loose mindset, go in there, learn and get better. And ultimately, I think he comes back, man. And that backcourt with him and JJ next year, that could be honestly, man, I think of, one of the best backcourts in the country. Top three backcourts in the country. Those two guys are, some of the most talented guards in the country. JJ coming over from Notre Dame, all ACC as a freshman. I don't know what he averaged, about 10, 11. And he's a guy that, as I'm looking at the 2024 mock draft, he's a guy that is 34, I think. No, 35. He is on the mock draft 2024 going to Orlando. So, I mean, that's a talent. And I think that he really wasn't assertive and aggressive like he should have been this year at Notre Dame. I think a lot of times he was kind of deferring. And they were talking about that a lot. I know I listened to a Mike Bray interview, or it might have been one of the assistants, but they were just talking about how they wanted him kind of step into that role of being the man and being more aggressive, being assertive. There he goes. I was running the ISO. But, bro, hey, I'm going to tell you one thing, bro. I tell you one thing. One-on-one is my thing. I've really never been beat. I have been, but I'm fucking a winning record of a lot to a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, we were talking about obviously, bro, going getting that feedback, and for Judah just knowing what his role is going to be at that next level. So and being able to work on that, be consistent with that, show them that the NBA we're talking about that he could do that and do it at a high level.
You know what the biggest thing though is at the same time you know what your role is going to be, but obviously you could never forget who you are and what got you to the points that you're at, right? Because there's going to be opportunities.
That's big.
You got to understand.
Big time,
you got to understand
right there.
that there's a lot of rest days. Guys are taking load management days, so there's going to be opportunity for you to show. And sometimes in the league, what's more important than anything is opportunity and being ready for it. You know what I mean? And injuries will occur, and sometimes you might find yourself in a spot where fuck it, insanity. Oh shit, here we go, boom, now I'm out here. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be there's
30 million real quick,
especially real quick. Be opportunity if ever that you obviously keep working. You understand what your role is now. You don't get frustrated with the role, but you never lose sight of who you are and what got you to the point that you've arrived at. You know what I'm saying? You just keep building on that and honing in on your skills and your skill set, creating good work ethic, good work habits, learning how to become a professional. Because being a professional, bro, is a job in itself. And we see what's going on in the media now with certain players, you know what I'm saying, doing things off the court that they probably shouldn't be doing. That's a part of being a pro, especially in today's world with social media and doing things like you got to really be able to be a professional in all senses of the word, bro. On, off the court, on
$1 billion corporation.
Come on, man. So these things matter. And so as much as you won't be called upon to score, don't forget that opportunities will present themselves one way or another, whether it's through load management, whether it's through injury. I always tell the story of, like guys damn near feeling bad for me because it's like, damn, young fella, like you good, but you're not going to play because, it's Paul Pierce, it's Jeff Green, it's Courtney Lee, Barbosa, Jason Terry, Chris Joe ain't fitting in. And like, it's not because I can't, because I show it every day in practice when there's no cameras, but they're going to play who they have to play to win, especially, what I'm saying? Same thing. You go to Brooklyn, there's Joe Johnson, it's Marshawn Brooks who've been there, Keith Bogans, Gerald Wallace. You know what I'm saying? At my position, it's like, well, damn, vets, who've been there and guys who they're paying a lot of money to. So the NBA, obviously, you can't forget that it's a business, and they will play who they pay before they play you. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it goes. But never forgetting who you are and what got you there. Never getting so frustrated with the situation at hand that you kind of lose yourself and you kind of derail. You gotta stay locked in because opportunity will come, bro. When you least expect it, you might get traded and end up on a team who, now you will be playing. But are you ready? How have you been handling yourself for the past 5 5 months when you weren't playing. That's all that shit matters. So it's a process. It's a process. At the end of the day, I hope that, like I said, I know he has a great supporting cast and they're going to lead him in the right direction. But I do hope that whatever he does end up doing is for the betterment of his future, in the long run. Not right now, not tomorrow, today, but like in 5 years. Will me staying at Syracuse one more year affect my future that much? Not really. You could still make a couple dollars with the NIL, thank God.
That's
You
a
know what I
big
mean?
difference with the NIL now, bro. Big difference. That's a
Big
big
difference.
incentive to come back.
Oh yeah,
Because
for sure.
he gonna get that paper to come back now. You gonna get we gonna get
Yeah,
you. We're gonna make sure we gonna get you something now. You gonna be straight. You gonna get a
yeah,
car, maybe 75 to 100. I mean, I'm not the one giving it to him, but he deserved that. He deserved that, bro. And it's crazy that you said about situation where you get drafted to, because so many guys,
it's huge, bro.
former NBA guys I talked to, they say, "Man, I wish I would have got drafted here, or I wish I would have got drafted there."
That's a
This
fact.
organization, is poorly ran, and this coach is right here. He has his favorites. You know what I mean? He's not. This guy right here has a guaranteed contract. He's regardless if I'm killing him, I've been killing him in practice. His
It don't
contract
matter.
is. You know what I mean? He's getting paid $5 million. I'm getting paid the league minimum. You know what I'm saying? He's getting paid
Yep.
$30 million. I'm getting paid $10 million. So it's huge. About it's not like, I think a lot of times guys take it personally too, and I was one of those guys, bro. Like, oh, I'm not good. Like, you ain't good. It's so many different factors. We just said the NBA is $1 billion corporation, bro. Like, $1 billion
Yeah.
business. So it's a lot of different factors that come into play. Not saying it's so many great hoopers out there, bro. Great ball players. But it's like,
100%.
what role are you gonna play to where you could fit in on this team? Like, and a lot of the times, like the draft process, they do a bad job of drafting because they think like, hey, he could play this role, and he ends up not being able to, play it. So it
Yeah.
goes both ways. It's obviously got that's why it needs to be more basketball guys in basketball, guys who play the game, know the game, because you got
Facts.
dudes just
Facts.
going off of numbers, analytics, drafting guys, thinking that they're the right fit. They're not, fucking up guys' careers going forward because they're not.
Yep.
You're not playing him to his strengths, or whatever the situation may be. So it goes both ways, but. Yeah, man, it's $1 billion corporation, bro. It's a lot of
You know who I think
different.
about, E? I think about a guy
What?
like Mike James, who the
Ooh,
overseas
he
killer,
tough,
right? Ended up
tough.
playing the play in the playoffs with the Nets a couple years ago. Did his thing, didn't play too much. I think, like, for him, he probably could definitely be in the league, but I think he enjoys being overseas. He's making a good chunk of change out there, and he's the man. Sometimes you never know what type of person, maybe the player, I'm living good overseas. I'm making, some good money, and I'm also the man. Some people want to be the man. You know what I mean? So it really depends, on the player as well too. But opportunity is critical, man. So for anybody that's playing professionally, that needs to hear this, whether it's overseas, whether it's in the league, opportunity is everything. But more important than that is being ready for it, because it's easy to, like you said, get
Yeah,
frustrated, because it's like, well, fucking, I'm not going to play anyway. And I had a personal dose of that, like my freshman year at school. Different, obviously, not the pros, but it's a school. My freshman year, I'm like, man, I'm not, fuck, a lot of DNPs, and I'm like, I'm getting frustrated. I'm ready to damn near transfer. And when my opportunities later in the season presented themselves, would later would be, like the six overtime. I wasn't really, I mean, I could play because I could play, but was I ready to affect the game? I don't think so, because I just wasn't working as hard as I could have, because the frustration that built up from the time that we played Florida and Kansas in the preseason tournament, where I thought to myself, well, fuck, I'm looking like I'm about to play 15, 18 minutes a game, to where I had 10 consecutive DNPs. That window was all it took for me to be like, man, I'm done with this shit. You know what I mean? And that's where you got to really have good people in your corner, which I did, but I wasn't reaching out to anybody because I was stuck in my own, it's like my pride, my ego, a couple other different things where I'm like, man, fuck this. I'm out. So again, it's all about staying locked in, you know what I'm saying, and think about long term and understanding the bigger picture. You're just a speck on the board. You got to see the big picture and realize like, yo, I'm not playing because there's Paul Harris, there's motherfucking Eric Devendorf, Christoph Ongenaut, who's physically more ready than I am, even if he
Played
wasn't
his
skillful as
role.
I was.
He
He's
played his
playing his
role.
role.
He did what we needed him to do. Enforcer,
Exactly.
rebounder, might hit an open
Yep.
corner three.
Yep. Rick Jackson's in there. So it's all about understanding your role and not getting so frustrated in the process that you lose yourself, you know?
And bro, I know it's hard. And I was thinking about while you was talking, like, you come in as a freshman and you coming in from high school being your scorer, you're a scorer on your team. You're the leading scorer, one of the leading
Yep.
scorers in the state, county, whatever it is. If you're playing at Syracuse, you're high level. You can score the ball. But now you come in as a freshman, like you said, you got a Paul Harris, a Andy Routins, a Johnny Flynn ahead of you who's taking care of that right now. He's taking care of that. They're scoring the ball.
Yep.
We don't really necessarily need that from you. How do you find time? Like, it's because a lot of times you're not changing your game, but you're figuring out what I got to do to get on that court. Like, all right, damn. So could I, as a guard, could I go in there and take some pressure off Johnny with handling the ball so he could play off, and now he could kind of focus on doing what he does best and not having to make so many decisions. Or Paul
Exactly.
Harris, can I come in and help him rebound the ball, let him get outlet and run wide a little bit more. How hard is it for guys to be able to go to find out how they could add value on the floor when they have a guy at their position coming in that already does what they're used to doing? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that could
Yep.
that's I
100%.
think where guys get into like a bad mindset because they like, damn, I'm scoring the ball, but we don't need you to do that. Like when Paul leave or when Andy leave that sophomore year, you might be the man. We need you to do that. And then another motherfucker coming in, they gotta play the role that you had your freshman year. I mean, and bro, coming from a guy, speaking about you, who's been through that and had to do that, and then turned it into like where you're the man. What's the mindset like when you're going in that for guys? And because I think we got a lot of those guys that have went through it this year, and they're looking for a bigger
Yep.
role coming into their sophomore year. Quadir Copeland, he's a guy who we saw bits and pieces. Like he has great energy, but now I think coming into this sophomore year, he could have a little bit of a bigger role. Malik Brown, Chris Bell, guys like
Yep.
that. So what's that like, bro?
The biggest thing is, again, like I said, it took me only 10 games, which 10 games, you play 10 games in a month and a half or so, to really fall off the wagon and be like in my feelings. So the first thing was I need to see the bigger picture. I have to get on my feelings. I have to see the bigger picture and realize like, all right, cool. I got to use practice practice was my game day. Practice was my game time. I got to start showing coach that I do have the ability. So at least it's in the back of his mind. Like, I could see Kris being in this role next year or whatever role it may be because I see what he's doing currently. So that was the first thing. Second thing for me was obviously, I've said it a million times, coach was brutally honest, told me I had to lose weight. Okay, cool. So in order for me to play here, I got to lose weight.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. I'll lose the weight. I'll lose the weight. And so I had to get with Ryan Kabilis. I was in Manly all year. I started drinking my gallon of water a day. Every day you catch me with a Poland Spring gallon of water, and I was going crazy. So I had to change my diet. So, you got to do something. You got to be self-aware, and you got to know, okay, this is what I got to do to be better. So I got with Ryan. I knew I had the skill set, right? So my whole thing was just, I need to be in better shape. I need to show that I could run up and down the court. I could rebound. I'm going to dunk. I'm going to be high level, high energy, whatever position, role that I have on this team, I'm going to do it at a high level. So the next year, the following year, my role was coming off the bench, and coach had been quoted saying many a times that season, like we have 7 starters. Speaking of Scoop and I, we had the starting 5, and Scoop and I came in damn near by the first media timeout. Me and Scoop was checking in. I was
Yeah.
already taking my warm up. So, it's my media time up coming out. I'm taking my fucking warm up top off because I know I'm winning the game. So I think being self aware and knowing that what you have to do to be the player you want to become. Like you can't lose sight of that, bro. You can't. Like I said before, I lost sight of who I was because I got caught up in. I'm in college now. Like this shouldn't be happening, but I wasn't. It's almost you're selfish, but not on purpose. You know what I mean? Because I knew I wasn't better than Paul at the time. Like I couldn't play in front of Paul. Maybe I thought maybe I could play in front of Kristoff, but I never saw it like that. Kristoff is getting 7 rebounds. He don't even care about scoring. He's gonna hit the open shot. He's gonna dive fucking through the
Playing
floor
hard as
to
shit.
get the
Playing
ball if
hard
he
as
had
shit.
to. I wasn't
Yeah.
doing that, bro. I wasn't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Like Kristoff put his body on the line in a real way multiple times. I couldn't see myself doing it, but being selfish, being young, I'm thinking I'm better than him. I do this better, but I'm never thinking what does he do better than me that the team needs in order to win. You know what I'm saying? So that was the biggest thing for me was just to be self-aware and like make that self-assessment. Like okay. And once I did, I figured it out, and I said, okay, that's why I wasn't playing. That's not why I wasn't playing, but that's why he was playing ahead of me because they were doing the things that I wasn't willing to do to help the team win. You see what I'm saying? So once I figured that stuff out, bro, that was the biggest thing. So my role went from not playing too much to being 6th man of the year in the Big East to now playing an even bigger role the following year, which was starting being the focal point of an opponent's scout report. And that transition was more so just riding the wave of my previous success as a sophomore and being a Big East 6 man was just okay, cool. Now I'm going to have more responsibility. I've been waiting for this moment to score the ball. I've been waiting on this moment for Boeheim to say, I need you to score for us to be successful. So bet. I was averaging 12 as a sophomore. I come in, I averaged 1.5 points, 2 points more my junior year with a great supporting cast as well. Rick Jackson, School, Dion, CJ Fair, Brandon Trish. So obviously it was a lot easier for me because those guys made it easy as well. But the mindset is the biggest thing. You know what I mean? Like that's the biggest thing. You don't understand how strong your mind is. And a funny story.
For
I mean, I
real,
don't know.
yo.
I guess this is Q Sports Talk. And I know we're not censored or anything like that. But
QSportsTalk.com. Yes, it is. We live, baby.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We live. So it was funny because I can't remember if it was my sophomore year or junior year. I must have been some shit was happening. I can't remember what exactly was going on in this little like 2 week stretch or so where I must have been going through it. But Coach Hop, one of the best people I ever met in my life, Coach Hop, right? He
No
was like,
doubt.
they call me JoJo. So he's like, you know what, JoJo? He's like, the mind is so powerful, right? Think about this. You could go to sleep, have a dream about a woman, and you wake up and your sheets are all fucked up. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
that's the power of the mind. And he broke it down like that, saying like, he's like, how hard you focus on something, how hard you think about something, like it's on you really. Your mind is powerful. Don't let anything else
That's
sway
a
you
fact.
from what's going on. You're going through a hard time right now, but your mentality, your mental toughness is what's going to get you through it. Like, don't worry. Your mental toughness was going to get you through it. And he broke that story down. He's like, yo, you could have what you call them, you could dream about a Rihanna and really feel like it really happened. You feel me? So shout out to Coach Hoppman. That was one of the conversations. As much as that was
Shout
like a
out
2 minute
Rihanna.
talk, shout out Rihanna. that was a 2 minute talk, but I mean that really put in perspective like how strong your mind is. You know what I mean? And he was the one who put me through I don't know if you're familiar with The Secret. It was a book. There was a DVD about it.
Yeah.
It just talks about how powerful the mind is. Coach Hop was big on that. So after that conversation, actually, he gave me the DVD to the Secret, I don't know, documentary or whatever it was. And I watched that shit, and that shit was incredible. And Hop helped me a lot switch my mindset as well.
Your focus goes where your energy flows. If you're gonna put a lot of energy on thinking about some negative shit, that's where it's gonna be. If you're gonna put a lot of energy focusing on the positive, what I can do to get better, that's where it's going to go. And I think, bro, the biggest thing is, too, at the end of the day, you want to help yourself. You want to get more time. Play as hard as you fucking can. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's a lost art in itself. Like, guys get to the point where they're so skilled and talented. Like, you see guys like just lackadaisical out there. If you go out there and compete at a high level, you love playing with motherfuckers on your team who just running, sprinting court, like doing everything on defense. It make it easier for you. Like, bet, all right, that you doing all the shit I don't want to do. So if you doing that, you automatically standing out. Coaches gonna be like, oh, I gotta play him. He playing harder than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? He making it easy for everybody. So that's a lost art. Like I said, that's something that guys just, you got to be able to compete, bro. Like, you got to play hard as shit. You're already separating yourself and setting yourself apart from everybody else just doing that. So I hope these guys fucking see the clip of the show. Jordan, you fucking clip that and put it up on Instagram and all that
Dame
shit.
Lillard actually had something. Dame Lillard actually
that was
had a
great
clip of him talking.
I saw that. Yeah.
Recently, just talking about effort, he was like, you just, if you don't play with effort, there's guys who are going to overlook you because they're just more impressed with the person who's playing hard. Sometimes skill isn't just going to get you over the hump. You know what I mean? Like, when you're saying, if you're there lackadaisically jogging down the court, Mikal Bridges will just cut right in front of you and get a bucket.
Right, yeah.
Right? So it's just about the mindset, man, and how hard you play.
Yeah, how many times you get an easy bucket just by cutting hard back door or making a cut and getting by the defense? Like, that happens a lot in the NBA. Just get from the defender being lazy and you cutting hard, behind them. That's a wide open layup. So compete, young fellas, compete. Separate yourselves by competing. Shout out to Gomez, man. He's on about 6 a.m. He's on early as shit.
He ain't in here, but shout out to Gomez,
Shout out to Gomez, bro. So when you went off real quick, we started talking about JJ starting a little bit and how he's in the mock draft next year. I think 35. I think I said to Orlando for next year. So he's another NBA prospect, a guy that has NBA talent. And then we talked about potentially, the backcourt of him and Judah. And in my mind, one of the top backcourts coming back in the country. A top 3 backcourt in the country. Talent-wise, you got 2 NBA prospects, 2 guys who are explosive and can create by themselves with the ball in their hands, make something, just, give them the ball, go ahead and score. Those are the type of guys that, we're used to having at Cuse. Guys who can just get it and go by themselves and make plays and make something happen. Surround them with shooters and surround them with, high IQ guys and bigs who could run the floor and move side to side and, guard the pick and roll, guard the pick and roll, but move in the middle, high post, shit like that. So, bro, what's your take, man? I'm excited. I'm excited about the prospect of this whole team coming back. These young fellas coming from freshman to sophomore year, they're going to improve, but the backcourt of JJ and Judah, possibly, that's in my mind, bro, one of the top backcourts coming back. I'm excited about that, bro. What you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, you got 2 potential draft picks in your backcourt. That's big time. And then you just add in the pieces that we do have, assuming that, all the other guys come back. Come on. That's a recipe for winning right there. If Malik come back stronger, more able, understanding, the college game and knows what he has to do. I think I said that last time at the end of the season was just, again, my whole thing is going back to the drawing board because I've been there. Where could I get better? What did I do well this year? What could what was I not so good at? Work on some strengths and your weaknesses. So you have those 2 guys in the backcourt running your offense, being the engine. You got Chris Bell on the wing, knockdown shooter, Benny Williams, who's kind of like.
I think Benny will be big next year, bro. I think he's gonna have a big junior year, bro. Seriously, how he ended the year, 18 and 13. Those were high level double doubles.
Yep, exactly. So Benny being there and Of course, I don't know what happens with Jesse. Jesse probably leaves, comes back, not sure, but counting him out, just
We need him,
the
bro.
guys that we do have coming back, Quadir, we're going to have a really good team. We're going to have a really good team. I know Hema is going to be in the mix. We have a freshman big who's coming in, a 7-footer, that we could
Yep.
just put in there to help facilitate things. But I think just with the
And
backcourt
it
and the
takes time.
forwards
He
that we
probably won't
have,
play for real, right? He probably
yeah,
won't play.
no doubt. But the people
He's
the
learning.
big that is there, again, we never been a school who gives the ball into the post like that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so you got to be a presence on defense and let the guys, run the show, in the two guards in the backcourt. And we're going to be a high level up tempo team. This year was already a big difference from the previous year. And I
Yeah,
think
no
that next
doubt.
year with those two guys running the show, I think that with those two guys, JJ and Judah, being able to run the offense, push the pace, we're gonna be in for a lot of scoring next year.
Just
So
think if
I'm
Jesse
excited
comes back,
again.
bro. If Jesse comes back and how much
Oh
pressure
yeah,
those guards will take off him. Like we don't have to really, like you said, we had to kind of throw it into him. He was a great option this season. Obviously, he was scoring the ball, 13, 14 a game, and he improved with his back
hmm
to the basket. But with Judah and JJ, and then supporting cast, you got to talk about Chris Bell, and then I think Benny's going to do good things this upcoming year. It's going to take a lot of pressure off Jesse, bro, to go ahead and do what you do best: block shots, take risks. Go ahead and
yeah,
go after those blocks. You got athletic guys who could come and get those weak side rebounds, and then go.
yeah.
We pushing it up tempo. I know Red he gonna play like that, bro.
Just from what I seen with JJ, and then Judah does such a great job of penetrating the gaps and finding guys for shots, finding Jesse for alley oops. Now you got another person right there on your wing, whether on the left wing or the right wing, that can do the exact same thing. So now he drive kick. JJ can get right into those seams and find Jesse for a little bounce pass, lob pass, or whoever it may be, Malik, whoever it is. Those two guys are going to be able to play great together, and I'm sure they're going to figure it out. Those are, again, two all ACC freshmen. You know what I mean? Coming together and playing, bro. That's great right there. I don't know the last time we would have had a backcourt that potentially that dominant.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hell of a backcourt because they could throw lobs to each other. For real, that's what they both
Facts.
they athletes like that. So when you guys got guys to be, and then Chris Bell's athletic as shit too. Like we seen him get a bang out on somebody this year, and obviously he's going to
Yep.
stretch the floor. I think Benny Williams really proved that he could knock down that perimeter shot, bro. I think we want him to be more aggressive, bro. Just get into the hole because, let that athleticism come out, bro. You know what I'm saying? And go ahead, get 1, 2 dribbles by, and then take off and just bang on somebody. I'm not. It's not out of the question that this guy could make the NBA roster these last 2 years. He has 2 years, bro. Like, I
That's a
don't care if
fact.
he's on a mock draft right now. If he shows these teams like he's an NBA body, gets a little stronger, he could knock down. And that's another thing. Like we talked about, what role can he fill? He could be the guy who's a savage 3-man guard, motherfuckers coming in like a 3-and-D type dude, if
hmm
or something like, you know what I mean? A guy who's on the rim.
Yeah, no, he could find his way.
Jeremy Grant
Exactly.
came in the league. Motherfuckers off of just like athleticism, bro. And now he
Yeah,
shooting the shit. He handling it. It's
yeah.
all up to you. What you want to do with it, bro? It's out there for you
And
to
I,
get.
I honestly believe as well that just from the outside looking in, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, but just speaking for me, if Benny comes back, he'll be playing with I don't want to say confidence, but maybe confidence is maybe it's not the exact word I'm looking for, but in a sense, he wouldn't be playing looking over his shoulder as much.
Yeah,
Because I do
yeah,
understand how that could be frustrating where, you feel like I take a shot, I'm not going back in for the rest of the half if I miss it. I could only imagine. Well, I've seen it. I've seen it be done before plenty of times where you take a shot and you fucking looking at the bench. As soon as you miss it, it's somebody at the scores table and you're like, God damn. It ain't a guard. That's for me. You know what I mean? So playing, I think that him playing with that level of relief, or I guess like mental freedom in a sense, is going to work wonders for him as well, because you're going to play a better brand of basketball that way.
And you got to know, like, a lot of these guys who are coming back, say they were recruited by Red in the first place. Talking about JJ Starlin coming in, that was Red's recruit.
Mm-hmm.
So all these guys that want to play for Red, they're gonna play hard for him. But you talked about competing. I think he's gonna get that that out of him. He's gonna get these guys to play at a high level. They're skilled. They know how to play the game. If they can compete consistently at a high level, we're going to be up there, bro, and I think we're going to have a good shot at making the tournament. I'm just, it's early, but I'm calling it. I mean, I'm looking at it from what we've seen even this year, bro. Like that 4-game streak that they went on late in the season, they weren't playing hard. We already discussed that. We've seen the talent. And they, a Miami team that is going to the Sweet 16, I believe. A Miami team, they were right there, on the verge of, last three possessions that came down to making the right decision. We just weren't able to do that. Freshman mistakes, guys learned how to play, but we're talent-wise, skill-wise, we're right there. It's about we got all the tools, all the pieces. It's about being consistent and putting them all together, competing at a high level every single game through the adversity. When we're missing shots, when we're turning the ball over, are you going to continue to play hard? You know what I mean? Red's going to get that out of those guys. I'm excited about it, bro. I mean, I think these guys could do something. Obviously, it's still some more shit to find out as far as who's going to come back and things like that. But it's rounded out pretty well, man. It's rounded out pretty well. So, bro, I want last 7 minutes. I want to talk about the tournament a little bit. Have you been checking it out, seeing any of these upsets? Talking about Fairleigh Dickinson beating Purdue. They just got beat by Florida Atlantic. Princeton beating Arizona. I mean, we talked about it all year, bro.
My bracket was busted off rip.
It's wide open, right? We talked about it all year. Wide open. I like fucking Michigan State going forward. I think they play. Tom Izzo gets those guys to play hard as shit.
That's exactly it, man. So during the year, I was looking at, Michigan State, who obviously I have certain ties to. I used to be in East Lansing on campus because my brother went there for 2 years. So,
yeah,
I was there, and I'm looking at them during the year, and I'm like, damn, Michigan State not looking like the Michigan State of the past. But then you come into the tournament, and of course, Izzo is going to have them boys playing hard, no matter what.
Great
That's
coach.
his DNA, just like, there's a certain DNA that you need to have to play for Coach Izzo. So I'm like, damn, okay, let's see what they do in the tournament. And I can't even say I'm surprised, man. So shout out to Michigan State. But definitely some big surprises. But I think the natural, bro, and you could go back to when you played high school or played fucking middle school or pee-wee, whatever you may call it, where you're from, and when you're playing a lesser opponent, it's easy for you to be going to that game without the same, like, all right, you writing them off, you kind of looking ahead. And I'm sure Purdue saw who the fuck they played.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
It was like the smallest team. We got the biggest motherfucker in the NCAA, and we're playing against the smallest team in the tournament, bro. We're gonna feed the ball to Edie down there. That's how you're thinking, 1,000%.
Shut that shit down.
In high school. Shut that shit down, because you can't measure heart. You feel me? You can see height, you can't see heart. And if you play hard, 3 E's: energy, effort, enthusiasm. You're gonna have a good chance, bro. That's true story. And I think that's what happened to a couple. When you see upsets like that, 16-1, whatever it is, 12.
It wasn't locked in, Joe.
They weren't locked in. They weren't locked in. They went into the game thinking they won already. And the thing is that now, when you're playing a team that has fucking nothing to lose, they're playing freely. They're taking 40-footers. You're reluctant to take those shots because you want to be perfect. Like, God damn, now we're only up 1 or we're down 3. We got to be perfect. That team is playing. They're riding the wave. They're riding the wave, bro. And that's what ends up happening. You end up losing because you fuck around and thought, man, this game is easy. We're going to win no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So I know how those locker room talks go. How we could play the walk-ons, we'd still beat them by 20. Here we are. I know. I've been there. And then you fuck around and be in a dogfight and end up on the wrong side.
Bro, they gotta do their due diligence in their history of the tournament and know that this shit is happening more and more often as far as like mid majors or lower level schools
Yep.
beating these high major schools in this turn. Man, you got to be ready. It's one and done. Talking about Purdue. I think they were like 19% from the 3-point line. Like those guards were hesitant to even shoot the ball. And now when you're not, when your confidence is took out of you, the other team is, whoo, bro, because it's only one game. You only got to get it right one time. You can have 1,000 ideas. It takes that one right fucking idea. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just that one time of everybody gelling, coming together. That's special. My man got a job, Iona. He's the head coach at Iona now. Took over Rick Pitino's job. Rick Pitino going to St. John's, but my man won a game, beat the number 1 seed, got him a new bag, man. That's how that shit go, man. Got him a whole new bag. Honey, my wardrobe is changing. It's gonna be a little bit different around here. We're going, but bro, for my tournament, I got Alabama, man. They are a talented group. I'm talking about long, athletic. Those wings are 6'7", dribbling the ball, handling the ball, guarding out there in the perimeter. They got bigs who are long and aggressive. Brandon Miller, they got a superstar. They just beat Maryland by 22 or 23 or what is it, 22, I think.
Exactly, yep.
Now they play San Diego State.
It was close, and now, San Diego State, which is decent. The Aztecs.
That's decent, but
yeah, Bama gonna get the monitor.
Houston, we got Houston on the other side, and then you got Texas, Xavier. We got Arkansas, UConn, Michigan State, Tennessee. Man, I'm taking Alabama, man. That's my pick. That's my pick, Alabama.
That's a great pick. We got about 2 minutes left. I want to mention how crazy the portal is. They say the portal, it broke a record.
That shit is crazy.
While teams were still in the postseason, right? It says so. It's like the portal is crazy. Hopefully, we got guys in the portal. Shout out to Sai. I hope he lands on his feet. And there was a question in the chat by Tom saying that I haven't even seen the Ford from Temple that Hughes is showing interest in. Do you know of a Zach?
I just saw it. Yeah, he's averaging, I think he's like a big forward, 6'7", 6'8", maybe he's averaging like 10, 11. So a guy that's fits the prototype, long, athletic, could move, is mobile. There's a couple other guys I saw that we're looking at as well. We round out with 1 or 2 guys out that portal, depending on the move that Jesse makes, and Joe. We got forget about Joe. Joe has a decision to make. Is he going to come back too, or is he going to go? So it's a lot of stuff that we still are waiting on and figuring out. But it's all good things. I think it's good problems to have for Coach Red going forward, man. So man, before we get out, Joe, my pick, Alabama, fucking winning it. Who's yours?
Well, I had Purdue winning in my initial bracket, but you know how that ended up. So my second pick was and is Alabama.
That's it. We're right to I'm a Q's guy, but we're rolling with the tide in the tourney. And we out of here, man. It's all love. Till next time, baby.